that right? Yeah.
Got it. Untitled React 2220 scheduled for 6:10 p.m. This is the biggest drop of the year.
My fans have been waiting.
Yeah, it's like waiting for the Nintendo Switch.
I don't think you guys need to sign in because there's two of you, so. I'm really losing count of the amount of people that are here. But if you don't have Node installed, install Node. Do you have Node installed?
How? Yeah, I think so. But how can we check? Is it like Node version?
I don't know.
I think so. Let me see. Node dash version.
Yeah, probably like npm.v, like -v maybe.
Oh, actually, yeah, Node dash version. That's npm -v.
Yeah. npm is usually how you like use it in the command lines.
That works actually. Yeah.
Just a guess.
npm -v.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then so what you should do is create like a blank folder somewhere. All right. On your, I guess you could open your desktop. Just open a folder inside of your VS Code, like we'll do it here. This is just a random folder that I opened. Can I make this bigger? Should we turn off a light? I think, like how visible is that screen?
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah.
Oh, you can change the lights.
It did. I've seen those types.
Usually like that one's currently down. Maybe this one doesn't come on. Is this readable? I can zoom in more too. I think I probably, I think this is still kind of hard to read.
I think you can just keep off.
I don't know. I think it's fine.
I mean, it's fine.
I think those might be sensor lights.
Did you try pressing the button?
No, I mean it's fine. Do you want?
Okay, cool.
It doesn't matter. I think it's better the lights in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe, let's see. I can't see from the side. It's terrible though. Okay, that's doable. You guys might see better. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If it's a problem.
Yeah, we could do that.
It's up to you. If you can see there, stay there. If you want to see better, move it. Is the stream like working?
It's way easier here.
Yeah.
No, I'll probably move it. It is.
Is there like audio?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You got a question in the chat.
I do?
So Martin's asking, I don't know how much I've missed, but for React, what should we install on our device? Or are you gonna?
You just need Node Packet Manager, npm.
Martin's also saying the stream is working. The audio does sound a little robotic.
Frick.
You don't have the microphone.
I can change the microphone, I think, through OBS. Audio input caption. So I just changed the microphone. In like a minute or two, he's gonna tell you if it's better or not.
Yeah. I'll type in the chat. I'll ask.
He saw me do it on streams.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I can't do.
I paused. I forgot.
I got one screen.
Audio is still he says, but the audio is still understandable.
Okay, well, let's see if the laptop mic is better than the webcam mic. But and that might be like internet or something. I'm not sure. You guys have the folder or whatever. Just any folder open inside of the VS Code. You can just open like your desktop too, something.
Just make a blank folder.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. I like that.
Okay. So once you have your folder open, you should open like a new terminal. I'll just do it here. Create a new terminal if you don't have one open, and then in the terminal you write like npx create -react-app, and then this is, you can name this anything. Like my app is like the default one, but name it something related. Like I'm just gonna name this one to 2022, and that's the command. And npx is like the new way of writing to create React app. It's like better, works better with like the versions and stuff. Sometimes Node packet manager can get messed up with versions. Kind of like Python, if you are familiar with Python. So right, that's it. You write what you want. So you say mdx create React app tutorial 2022 or whatever name you've so chosen. And then this is like gonna install React, React DOM, React scripts, and a bunch of stuff to make your React app actually work. And it takes a second. So, and you have to do this every time you create a new React project.
So when you create a new React project, what is the come of? Like just files basically?
Yeah. Well, you'll see in like. Got the FIU Wi-Fi. It's going crazy. I'm pretty sure it's a lot faster at my house.
And we're putting it to the test. Okay, yeah, Martin said it sounds good now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great. Uh-oh. I got an error. You create. Let me open a new file, new folder. Downloads. Okay. npx create. I just installed Node on this computer, so I hope that there isn't some crazy error that would be disastrous. So it worked for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The new created, and in that folder is the React app. So if you try to do React stuff like npm calls outside of before you change the directory to that, then it won't work. So you can do it yourself. You can cd to the next folder, and then it says npm start, and that's how you like start the React app and make it like live. Please work. My God.
Start. Oh, it holds link was.
You got the spinning React app.
Yeah. Edit src/app.js.
And there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of lot of files, and I'm just gonna like delete like half of them, so it's a little easier. Because most of them are not necessary. But if you try to delete them yourself, sometimes it gives you errors. I'm gonna put the anime music back on if this doesn't hurry up. If this doesn't work, I'll just take a minute or two. Usual amount of time. How is this? Did you go to the meeting yesterday?
14?
Yeah.
I did not. You do?
No, of course not. Oh, what is this?
Oh, you're getting a lot of.
This does not seem right. I don't think.
Master, what's happening on your laptop?
Oh gosh. I'm just gonna uninstall Node real quick.
And a simple uninstall, reinstall.
Yeah. Unlucky. Really, unlucky.
Yeah. Mike said, not sure why, but it seems like the audio cuts off every 8-ish seconds for some. Call it a day.
You two are the only my true students. This, yeah, but the audio's messed up. I don't know what to do. It's because I'm using like all my bandwidth to like.
All this computer just to get this going on.
Yeah.
Because you're running on Windows computer.
Sure. Just install it on this thing, on this boomer computer. Alright. Terminal. PX. App. Please.
That sounds like a prayer at this point.
It is a. Let's see. Oh my gosh, what is this? Figma. So I don't want to use my Twitter. Not quite. It's more just a demonstration of like the how things are passed. Like consider like something like Twitter. You can break it down into components. My Twitter is so degenerate, but I gotta think of somebody else's Twitter. Not degenerate. They're just like it's like crypto Twitter, and people say random weird stuff and hot takes. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, people say crazy stuff. Who's Twitter? Can I look at FIU Twitter? Let's go. Okay, cool. Perfect. So like there's multiple components to Twitter. There's like the tweets. This is like a kind of like a box where you put all the tweets in. You have like your nav bar over here. And then these could be considered components as well. So you could have like a nav bar component, and then like each navigation item could be technically a component too. Or it could just be like hyperlinks, but you could like copy paste like the look and stuff into like a component format to make it easier. Or like these are like, this is like an article, so this could be like a what's happening kind of like component. And then inside of it, there's like article components. So I kind of demonstrated here. So today I'm going to try to make like a tweet component. See if my stuff worked. Yay!
Please serve live.
Please serve live. So that's sort of an fundamental part of thinking about how React works, is that things divided into components. Like the other alternative would be to write, like copy paste the code times for each tweet, which would just be ridiculous.
So would you say that a component?
Like if there's like a different.
So pages are made up of components.
Yes.
Okay.
Like for example, the feed. I'm not sure a feed necessarily needs to be a component. It's kind of in the gray. Like, but if it only exists once, like there's only one feed. Actually, no, because feed should be a component. Because when you click on someone's profile, that's a different than. So everything should be a component that can be a component. You just don't want to be repeating things for no reason.
That makes sense. So maybe like, say the Twitter logo, that's not a component technically. Like if it's on like the right hand side of the screen, the left hand, and there's only one of it.
In your thing, in your VS Code, you have to change directory every time. Like when you naturally open up that folder, it's going to open up whatever the surrounding folder is. So you can just open the folder that you change directory to, and then it'll automatically open that, and you can just write npm to change directory every time. Okay, cool, it works. All right, so one thing about React is that, what is going on here? All right, I need to find the folder that I'm doing this in.
By the way, question, I think it's kind of similar to what I asked, but Martin asked, would you say that components are the graphical equivalent of methods and functions and not necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily. Which one did I just make? Where's please work? Please, sir. Okay, still folder, sorry. Cool. this will be easier to see now. All right, so now there's a bunch of junk in here. Like, for example, everything you need, though, is going to be in source. So public, like, if you're used to HTML and CSS, you don't actually really interact with your HTML page. There's not really a good reason to start. And the main thing is messing with these files, and a lot of these aren't necessary, so I'm just going to delete them. So I'm going to delete it. I'm going to break when you do this, and I'll explain why. Delete setup test, delete report files, delete logo.svg, delete app.test.js, and just have these 4. And these should be a bit easier to look at. And your React's going to break. I'll let you guys delete all the files until it looks like this one.
A little bit bigger than that.
Okay.
It's a little.
Your index.js file is sort of like where a lot of the files connect. It's trying to import web vitals, report web vitals. That doesn't exist anymore. So delete it. And report vitals is right here again. It's calling the function. We don't want that anymore. Just delete it. And then instead of app.js, it's trying to import the logo, which no longer exists. We deleted it. So we're just going to delete the logo. And I believe that should be it. We're just going to clear out this app.css. We don't want that anymore. I kind of like this font, so I'm going to leave it for now. So, okay. Now we're here. The code probably still doesn't work because this still trying. Your app.js. So this is like your main file that you do all of your stuff in. And you generally want to keep your app.js sort of have a ton of code in it because it could get really messy. So now we're just going to delete what they have given us. So everything below this div class name app, the div at the bottom, like in between there, we're just going to delete. So like starting with this header and with this header, we're just going to get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. Let me know when you guys are caught up.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I'm asking
too
a
fast.
question. He only has node modules, src file. Did he miss a step? He did npx create React app. So he only sees node modules. He doesn't see public src.
This is what you. I don't know. I can't. I would just try recreating it. Just starting another React file. That's an interesting error. I don't think I've seen that. Moment, but if he was here, I could just fix it before. But. Okay, so this. Are you guys caught up, or are you guys still deleting? And does your. Why is this not? Just make sure you're auto saving as well on your VS Code. And that's helpful. I don't know why this is not updated yet. Let me create. For some reason, my React app died. PM. Okay, it's just blank because I don't have anything written. Are you guys caught up? Okay. Yes. So one thing that's interesting about React is that here. So this is where you write your imports at the top. So import. And then right here above this function app, this is where you write like a lot of script. So this is where you put your like variables. You can write it in code too, but if you're gonna declare a bunch of variables and stuff, it's best to leave your JavaScript up there. All right, so this is like this inside of this like return statement area. This is kind of where you write your React app. In between these return statements, and your CSS, but you write your HTML inside of this like you're writing it on the your HTML kind of thing. But as far as you understand, it's the same thing. So you can write your little paragraph, hi, and it actually updates live as well. So you don't have to like create like a live server like you do for like a regular HTML CSS page. Everything updates live. Everything breaks live too, which is great. Sometimes you delete like a picture and then like it's still trying to import it and then it'll like break and you're just like, that's annoying.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the basics of like how it works. Yeah, and you write everything in here. So, and modules are sort of, so right here, this package.json, when you install something, it like writes down exactly what you're gonna install. It kind of like keeps a record for you. Because when you upload something to GitHub, like it even has a git ignore here, when you use the GitHub, or you don't actually want to like transfer, you don't need to keep the node modules. React automatically, like when you, if you were to download this on your computer, you would type npm I, and it would read like the package.json and be like, all right, here's everything that I need to install, and then it would install it for you. Gone. This is a criticism people have of Node, and there's not too much you can get away from it. People are trying to make alternatives, but this is with Node, is that you have all these files that are necessary to React app, and it's just a lot. File. So your React is like in Node, and you just import it like in your index file. So you import your React, and that is literally inside of your Node modules.
That's where you're importing it from.
Yeah, and the more stuff that you have, that means the more stuff that they have to download on their computer. So generally, like for example, I'll just download Bootstrap for a second, just to show you guys how it works. So right now React is not in here. So I'm gonna say npm install React Bootstrap. So that's what it's gonna do is download. Oh, what's going on? Plug this. Okay. Well, I have the React Bootstrap website, so I'm gonna try using this, and you can follow along because I'm gonna delete this code like afterwards. Let's go. Come on. It's being annoying. Okay. Let's see if this works. Why is this all the way over here? I don't know why. Okay, it seems to be working better than it did last time. So, installing React Bootstrap, and it's like specifying which version. So now this is like the confirmation. It has downloaded React Bootstrap. So now React Bootstrap is actually like in my files, and I can import what I need. So React. Let's see if it's here yet. I don't see it yet. But and this, when I'm zoomed in, this is terrible. Like on my computer, it's a lot easier to navigate through here. But you don't need to look at these files ever, really. That's just showing you that they exist. And then for me to actually render things in React Bootstrap, I do need to do this. Your source.index file. This isn't the main point of what I'm doing, so if you don't understand what's going on, I'm just showing you. And then it says, let's see, introduction. So we can say import button from React Bootstrap source button. Hopefully this works. So in my app.js, I'm going to say this. Button renders. This is giving me. Okay, cool. There's a button. Doesn't look like a good button, but there's a button. I rendered it, and this is something that I downloaded from React Bootstrap, and it didn't exist before this. I could put some text in it to give it more size. It's probably like microscopic on your screen, actually. And React Bootstrap has its own notation in React, so it's a little bit different than regular Bootstrap. Let me zoom here on this web page, so it's like easier for you guys to see. Okay.
Use like caught in the projector.
That is the projector's fault. It's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's because it's not centered.
Man, this university, janky.
If only you could just move it.
Okay, so now we're cleaned up, and you don't want to like. There's a ton of things inside of the node modules. Tons of things that you can import from React Bootstrap that you will slow down their stuff because you're downloading a ton of things. So generally, you want to use as least as possible. Like you wouldn't install the entire React like suite into every like component that you have. It doesn't make any sense. So you just use what you need, and that's it. And let's talk about components. So component. So if you want to write the same thing over and over again, it's better to write it once. So I'm going to make a new folder in source, and we're going to call it components. And all of our components will be new folder, components. Okay, so this is empty for now, and we're gonna make a tweet.js. And when you name variables in JavaScript or React, you could just let's see if this works correctly. We're gonna change everything. I just copy pasted the code from the app to the tweet. And we're gonna change everything that says app to tweet. So this default, that's like where you can import it from another file. Like for example, this app.js, it's exported here, right? And in your index.js file, it imports the app from .app. So that's how you like transfer the Java files into each other, or at least read them from each other. And knowing how like the -- like syntax is very useful. Like for example, you might need to in this folder you might need to access something in like app.js or something. Well, you wouldn't actually do that, but regardless, you have to understand that you have to have two dots. Or like if you import like an image and you have like an image folder, to be able to like use the syntax to get the image and not break it, because it's really frustrating. Let's get rid of this. Oops. And right here we'll write tweet. So this is a tweet component. And here inside of our app.js, so we have our new component. Instead of our app.js, we're going to import at the top. So import. Usually it's pretty smart about this. And let's see if we can get some tweets. The way you can do it is you can so let's see if our tweet is existing. Okay, so right, we have the tweet. I brought this in from a different file, and it says the tweet component is active. And for example, if I wanted to have a bunch of tweets, I could just be like, oops, tweet. So we can copy and like create as many tweet components we want. And like for example, inside of the tweet component, we could have our own component. You could imagine that it could get very deep. And a quick note about the CSS files. So this index CSS file, this is to affect all of the CSS over every like web page that you have. So example, if you wanted to set like a default text size, you would do that in your index.css file. If you wanted to set like a default and this color and this font, you could set that in your index. A tweet.css and import the tweet.css to that. You don't like have too much, because sometimes like a CSS file could be 3 pages long, and you need to find something at the bottom, and it's really annoying. You get lost. You can divide your CSS files into like individual components, and that also helps them like interrupting each other, because sometimes CSS you could be like it might be getting thing from index.css that you don't want, and then it could just get very disorganized. You may want some component to look like this in this way, and then look like this. I'm just gonna write everything in the index.css file today, just because it's like a couple things. But that's not the best practice. Okay, so we have our tweet, and there's a way to pass things to each tweet. So, for example, what if you wanted to pass your name down to a tweet object? And that's called a property or a prop. So you can pass a prop to the next thing. And it only works downwards. I think in my Figma I had some stuff. So like props, you can only pass props downwards. So like if you had like your name, you could only pass that downwards. You can't pass the name variable to like child A and then like back over here. Like it only goes down. So if you need to pass something to child B, you have to write it from child A or parent. Nothing goes upwards. Can actually change. Like for example, if you click like a button, like say you had like somewhere and it says 1, and you clicked a button that says +1, you can trigger a JavaScript event that goes back to the parent. So it'll pass it back down to the child, and that's how you change the state. So state is like a concept very exclusively why you would want to use React to manage your state. And you can see how like this is like an example of like a React app. Let's see if I can move this over for you can see it a little better. Like a React app can get pretty complicated pretty fast. So if you have like information, and maybe you need the user information in your user menu and your down, you also need it in the payments. You're gonna have to pass it down to each individual thing. So one of the ways that you can simplify it is to use, and I'm not gonna go into this or I'm not even sure if I ever will, but there's something called React Redux. Keeps the state like in a side for you, so you don't have to like. I'm gonna make a variable. So in app.js, here is where you can write your JavaScript. So I'm gonna make a const name equals Thomas. So I created the JavaScript variable with my name. And say in my tweet I have like a username or something. I could say like last name equals app. You kind of can do the same thing. So and you can JavaScript inside of this is that you use these brackets. Okay, cool. So tweet me equals name. This is like me, me. This is me. This is me passing, like, a variable into this tweet. And let's go to tweet.js. Let's get rid of some of these. So in our tweet.js, we could say So like I said, this is how you write. So here you write props, and that's like indicating that something has been passed to it from its parent. So so then we say we could get rid of this text. We could say props dot me. And let's see if so. This is like this is printing that variable. Oops. So cool. We have passed a variable like name that could work. Oh, actually, technically, index.js is it's like the parent, but yeah. And app.js is like the parent. Yeah, it's like where you put all your components, like, stack everything up.
Oh yeah, because you showed us that tree. Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, if you want to pass a prop, say like somewhere lower down the tree, I mean like, say you have like a parent here and like here and then apps all over here, would you have to start the prop like all the way from app?
If you needed, so you could start it anywhere, but if you needed it elsewhere, like, let me go back to that graph. Pass from settings, you could just do that.
Okay.
But for some reason, if you needed something, that same thing over here, then you'd have to go all the way back up to app. So you can only pass it downwards. That's why like this like state management like Redux system is a little bit better for like matter so much. But and obviously, if you work at like a company, I can imagine these React. Let's demonstrate that passing it through something. So I'll create another component. I'm just gonna copy paste most of this stuff. New component. So say new file, and this will be feed.js, and this will be where we keep. So we're just gonna go in here and everything that says feed tweets, we're gonna change it to. Sorry, everything that says tweets, we're gonna change it to feed. So now in app.css, and in feed, once you guys have caught up, in feed we're going to import our auto finish, please. Tweet from. Tweet. Please. Let's see if that's before. This is obviously you have to go into the component folder. You don't have to do it because this is also in the component folder. So instead of using tweet, we're going to use we're going to import feed. And we can even have. So we're going to get rid of tweet. We don't need it anymore because tweet is going to be the feed component. it's going to be like the child of the feed component. So you don't need every component inside of the app. It could be like parental. Class name of feed. We're gonna write. We're gonna make a tweet component. And inside of the tweet component, we're gonna write it sort of like the way we did before. Me equals props dot. I think it's that me. Feed me equals name. Let's get rid of this too. I think I did this right. Okay, so it's still rendering. So, I don't know if you guys are caught up, but I probably did that a little too fast. Do you guys need help doing this?
Functions versus classes? Question mark.
That's next episode. Yeah, function like more functional is like the newer way of doing it. React are used to using classes, so a lot of people super like amazing at using classes. So, yeah. Okay, so we have our feed.js and our tweet.js, so we can actually pass things like from a parent to a child to another child. And let's see, I'm gonna do a little CSS and just to make this look a little prettier. Is feed capital? Okay. So I'll make our feed here. So feed margin auto 50%. Color white. And we're gonna make a tweet. We're gonna make this width 100%. Background color. That should be the same. Oops. Ugh. Background color is the same. Color white just makes color white. The color doesn't really matter. And then what else? Make a border. 1 pixel. Is there a border color? Border color. Let's see how this looks. Cool. So now it's like our tweets are centered a little bit. And if we make multiple tweets, it's gonna be like, so in the feed, now we do the tweets like this. So now we have multiple tweets. And passing things could be, so let's do like let's do a more complicated pass. So instead of our feed.js, we're gonna do here. So you write your JavaScripts. JavaScript. JS goes here. So we're gonna make a more complicated like tweet. So const tweets equals. This is like multiple. We're gonna say wait, it's in quotes. Thomas tweet content says, oops. I'm not actually hungry. And yeah, that's fine for now. Oops. It's mad that I didn't do that. Sorry, says Java rules. And who else can I make fun of?
Okay. One other person, I believe.
Man, well, sorry.
That works too.
I love Walmart.
These are all facts.
Yeah. Real tweets. Direct quotes. So, alright. And let's see. Okay. So you can like map in JavaScript. So you can like, it'll like make the amount of tweets per the amount of things that are being fed into it. So we'll just do that here. So let's say tweets dot map. This thing that I made is called tweets. So we're just gonna map it, and we'll do it to tweet. Ugh. Jesus Christ.
Looking at your right at the bottom.
What's that?
The background's just going crazy, even though you're just like
It's going
typing.
it's going brazy. It's like what the yeah. It's the thing about Redux is that it'll like live give you errors. Let's see. Tweet equals. This is like declare a function in JavaScript. This arrow function stuff is kind of weird looking. Let's see. These. Now we put stuff inside. Tweet. Okay, tweet name equals what was the thing? Oh wait, this is gonna be feed. this is tweet. Sorry. Name equals feed dot. Why is it capped? Name. What do they call? I think it's props that name. Props. Sorry, it's tweets that name. I'm tripping. Let me see if I can figure this out. Tweet equals tweet. Oh. Oh, okay. This work? Tweets map. Okay, this should work. Let's see our tweets.js is done. This is props dot. /p props dot tweet. Too many things that sound the same. It's really confusing. Okay, we're close. Our tweet is not. I think I should name this something else. What do they call this? Oh, tweet content. That's what I was messed up. This is like not the way I want it to look. Let's see. How that like that's like kind of JavaScript notation. So that map. This is like saying like this is like this kind of thing, like this dot name. So it's like, and I know this stuff gets really confusing. Like there's like way too many brackets going on. But so this is like saying this. So it's like this dot name. So it's bringing in this these tweets, and it's mapping them. Like each tweet is called. Each one of these tweets will be like.
So it's kind of iterating on its own, and like each specific one, like, you just see you got one line, that's a tweet, and then you can grab.
Yeah, yeah, it's like. Also confusing in Python if you've never used it before. So yeah. Line. Oops. Sometimes. Wait. It's gone. Everything I worked for.
All I've been working up to this point.
Yeah, it's good. Annoying because I like accidentally brush it sometimes and everything goes crazy. Does this look better now? It does not look better. Okay, cool. See. Now, a lot of this other stuff is CSS, but knowing how to pass things around is very important. Imported from the image like folder, and then I could have the 3 different images, and then even those would be imported. So like I can make a full tweet with all the contents that be in the tweet. And then this is pretty much what I was gonna go for. And then the next one I was gonna do like more of like state management, because state is more complicated and you actually like change something. So it's a little more complicated. And functional components.
So between functional.
Yeah, we're F-sharping.
We're having the one IRL use case of F-sharping.
Yeah. Any questions?
Curiosity's sake, like the actual text and that centering them, that would be also CSS, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then for I guess you in the dot tweet, or you would center it in there.
So like here, this. So div class name equals tweet. We could go into the index.css. Font size, and the font size just looks big because it's zoomed in so much.
Yeah.
Equals. Yeah, now it's changed. And then you could like write like. Very possible and not that hard to do in CSS. So this takes a second to render it out. You could also put like a nav bar on the left if you wanted to.
I guess that would go in that. Like you would say like, okay, like here the nav bar.
Yeah, so like you'd make like a nav component. A new thing for each of these, but you could. So and then a new like button for.
Right. That makes sense. And then.
And you do it the same way. Home button's always going to be the home button. Like you don't have to map that. A little bit different. It's easier if anything. It's like permanent. There's like something called React Router, and that's how you like actually change web pages. And I think that'll probably be covered in the next one. Because right now you can't change like home to like the Explore page or.
Yeah, we kind of
yeah.
Other stuff in that.
Or for example, like there could be a whole another tweet component that is like when you expand the tweet, make it a full page. That could be an individual component as well.
You would use React Router to get to. I don't know, because I did a little bit of React or CD, or what do you call it, software engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember, but
yeah,
that might be.
That's pretty much it. Like, it's really. Like relevant. How to move things around, how to move information around. Like you're just calling things in from the back end. Or the back end will return a list of tweets, and you'd map them in a similar way. So it's like, yeah.
So fun. This is really good, actually.
Let's see how that footage turned out. It's really messed up.
Mm-hmm.
see how the footage turned out. See if it's salvageable.
Yeah.
Well, I could just cut like the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, there should be too bad. I think